my goodness. Well, that's a ways away. Greg is not here yet? Is he coming?
Oh, he isn't?
No.
We spoke on Monday, regarding the agenda and everything, so I know he was aware.
Okay.
He's on his way. He came in and left his stuff here.
Oh, he is, so he's in the building?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess,
In the building somewhere.
Leona has said that he's in the building, so we'll give it a couple more minutes, and then, maybe we can.
Okay, please watch your step. Please watch your step.
Yes.
Facebook, we're at the homeless tax force meeting.
Yes.
Do you have a sheet of paper for attendance?
I can put one around.
Thank you. Can you write my name in?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
We're at the homeless task force meeting. Let's see.
And you too.
And there's something on the back too.
Good afternoon. How are you? Good. Don? Sure. Sawyer. Don Sawyer. Nice to meet you. Teacher that used to teach at Madison School, Yvonne? Yvonne? So how's everybody? Rebecca, welcome.
Whitney's on the phone.
Yes, yes.
Hey, Greg.
Upstairs. Whitney, how are you, dear?
Good, good. Thanks for asking.
Did you make it to Baltimore all right?
I am here.
All right. Well, we're ready to have out of here. Everybody's okay today? 2:33, we'll have the meeting to order. Does everybody have an agenda? You gonna get one of those? Yeah? Nope.
Oh, here's, hold that. No, just take that. Oh,
There you go.
hi, I'm Tracy Brandon from the Fairmount Theater.
No. Good.
I'm coming to gather some information, see what we can do to help.
We could tell you if we can tell you.
Well, I'm good with that. After the week I got, I'm good with that.
Good for you. You know, I just drove by the Paramount this morning and looked at your posters and the new electronic board.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah, we're very fortunate to have a Fairmount.
Well, it looks like you've got a very clear path now financially too. You know,
It's coming,
with the mortgage being going and
it's coming.
stuff like that.
It's a lot to keep that old building ticking.
You're going to Paramount, tell her to get in for a movie on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So you live high on the hog. You're gonna get there. Okay, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, hope everybody's been all right. Let's see now, where were you at last week? Moscow.
Signage.
30 minutes.
The signage.
All right, we'll get after it. We have some minutes to approve from April the 27th. Have folks read those minutes as they were sent to you? April 24th was the actual meeting, I think. Is there any questions about those minutes? Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the April task force meeting. All members in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. The April minutes are approved. Now let's talk about Beyond the Bridge. Okay? Rachel.
I've invited Don Sawyer, he is the producer of the Beyond the Bridge documentary.
Shoot, I thought you were from Anderson.
Well,
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Richmond, I live in Minneapolis.
Good. That's just kind of stuck on by itself.
No big deal.
Well, welcome. How you doing? I thought maybe it was LA.
Lived there for a long time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What an experience. You didn't have a lot of weather like this, did you?
Not really.
Very good, welcome.
No, thank you.
Welcome. It's all yours, Rachel.
Well, I'm going to hand it over to Don. He said that he had, he likes having meetings with the groups that are going to have come, to kind of go over what is, going to happen on the night of the event that we have.
Sure.
To do the screening,
Right.
and that way everybody can be on the same page and
Should
know
be.
what we need to do.
Okay, so when, is that a separate meeting for what you want to do today?
That's what.
That's what you want to do
doing now.
today? Okay, then let's, continue.
All right. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. Actually, a lot of the work goes on before the screening, most of it actually, to get the results that you want from the screening of the film. The film is showing a solution to how any community, big or small, can address their homelessness situation in a win for the community and a win for those who experience homelessness, a win for everybody. And there's a certain blueprint that's shown in the film, generally from, but a lot of you have seen it, correct? Right. So basically, every community has its own struggles, its own configuration of the struggle. And the first question we ask is, what would you like to see this event facilitate toward a solution that's not currently existing? Things that need to happen, whether it's a piece of legislation or whether it's just two, silo organizations talking to each other, or what is it that you guys would like to see as a result of the event? Is the first question that I would ask you.
Open discussion, what do you want to see out of this event?
So I'd say, for me, it would be cohesion of the community, business community, the legal community, law enforcement, behind the idea of housing first, and all of us kind of coming together, so that we're unified in that one direction.
Okay. And how would we build support for that? Legally, of course. Okay. Go ahead. How have they felt supported by that? Other communities you work with?
There's always a steering committee, which is kind of the event planning committee. I think Rachel was the first to, there's a couple of folks from Anderson, but I think Rachel was the one that followed through to talk with us. So she would be the beginning of a steering committee. And then you want the business community there, you want lawyers there at the event. So you want to fill your steering committee out with individuals with networks that include these folks.
Okay. How large are steering committees?
They're anywhere from 3 to 11 people. It just depends on the place and how big the place is. And you basically want it to end up being a town hall meeting. You want the mayor there, you want the county executive, that's how it's configured. Your community, you want council folks there. You want everybody there to be sitting in the same room. We get told all the time, this is the first time that everybody who's dealing with homelessness in the community, either directly or indirectly, has been in the same room at the same time, experiencing the same panel discussion. That's another thing that you want to think about. Who would be good to sit on the panel to bring forth that message, and also you want the community there so that they can ask the questions, because communities have questions that they don't even ask. But when they get in a situation like that, and they see the people who have the decision making, sitting on the panel, they want to know, the biggest question they want to know is, how are we going to look more like the communities we just saw in the film? How are we going to deal with our situation to be more of a collaborative effort with everybody on the same page, like the people we saw in the film? And so all of that is all the work that's done going up to it, and of course, the date's been set, the venue, I assume, has been set, it's, you know, so all of that is half the battle now, it's just, you know, working to get the community into the space, to, you know, and understand even media, get the media to cover it, make it a big deal. And if
you leave your contact, we have a good relationship with media, we'll give them your information.
okay,
We'll have him call, his name is Ken.
mhm,
Okay, we'll have him call you ahead of time.
okay,
Okay.
that sounds great.
How long is the film for?
It's 84 minutes, and 2 minutes of that is for credits.
84 minutes. Okay, so you are at, just about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you would go to a community discussion, questions.
Yeah.
We probably should have, get as many questions as we can in advance, perhaps.
I don't know where they would submit them, but if you have an efficient place to submit them, sure.
On our website, we'll have it.
Sure, and, you know, a lot of questions are generated, by the film. You wanna
Okay.
leave room for people to be able to react quickly. Yeah, you'll want a moderator, a panel of, you know, we have panels of a lot of different sizes. I'd say the average is 4 or 5 plus a moderator, but we've had, in Santa Cruz, California, which is about this size. The former mayor was the moderator, and there were 8 people on the panel, and he ran it so well. It was one of the best panels we ever had, but that's usually a disaster.
Is that on film? Or we can say,
No, it's I don't think they're going to do it.
well, I'd be happy to fly to Santa Cruz for me. Actually, there was a major player in Anderson from Santa Cruz, and he was executive assistant for media relations to Anderson College president. So his name is Tom Bruce. He was from Santa Cruz. I used to work with him. Beautiful place, he says.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Okay, so if you're looking at the total picture,
Mhm.
how long should we be thinking about this session lasting?
They normally last about 2.5 hours, you know, at the beginning, if nobody from the community, like if the mayor doesn't want to come and give comments, or anybody else, I mean, if you want to give comments prior to, right before the film, my partner Tim and me, we talk a little bit about the film and why we made it and stuff. And then we show the film, and then after the film, there's a panel discussion. And that's where, the community kind of makes it their own, issue.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
The panel reflects you and Tim, correct?
We'll be on the panel, sure, if
And
you,
who else? You suggest?
well, it depends on the community, but we've had, business leaders on the panel, we've had, city councilors, county councilors, county supervisors. We haven't had a mayor that's been brave enough to be on the panel yet, but they've opened, and, you know, they make comments before and after the film, and they've been in attendance. In fact, the mayor of Baltimore, on the phone.
Witness.
There we go.
He gave comments, after some of the media broadcast. You probably service providers, you might have someone with lived experience, if they are articulate and they can organize their thoughts, and you know, there's no one who can sell the solution more than someone with lived experience. You know, and everybody else is just basically talking, but
We have a lady on our task force with living experience. She's not here today.
Mhm.
But, yeah, she's been through the whole thing
you know,
and did well coming out of it.
there you go. I mean,
That's
And would we say the purpose of the panel is, to support kind of the solution that you're suggesting, or to give an overview of the state of homelessness in the city?
that's giving an overview on the state of homelessness or talking about all the good work that's going on. You know, there is good work going on everywhere, but that is the worst possible panel, you know, that you could have. We've had audiences, you know, it was actually, looking back, and it wasn't funny at the time, but in Columbus, Ohio, they started doing that, you know, people getting up kind of like their stump speeches for their organization and stuff like that. And fully, like 3 minutes into it, half the audience got up and left. That's not what people want to hear about homelessness. They want to hear, first of all, they don't think there's any hope. But when they see that there is hope, they want to hear how your community is going to go in that direction. And I already heard Housing First mentioned over here. And if there's a contingent of you who are advocating for housing as a solution, housing services as a solution, I'm sure that in general, it's like you're barking up a tree, but in this environment, you're coming from a position of strength. It's one of the only environments you'll be coming from a position, at least a level playing field, if not, you know, you have the upper hand. We've had a couple of people, you know, officials, whatnot, struggle. One was in Kansas City, one was in San Jose. That you know, they're fire breathing criminal. Let's, you know, throw them in shelters or throw them in jail, get them out of the way, for, you know, that kind of thing. And watching them struggle after the film to articulate themselves, we know we did our job, because, you know, they are not dealing with full information most of the time when they arrive at those positions. But when they, you know, when the case is made in the film that housing services is the best way to address homelessness, and it's kind of, you know, you just see the lives of people flashing across the screen. You know, they have a hard time holding to that position in a forum. So if you can have your whole community there, and it's a small enough community here to have to kind of say, hey, everybody show up. If you can do that, and you guys have your message together and your panel that will support that message or whatever, you can have real progress in convincing people that that's the best way to go. And most of all, the film is like it talks about housing first, it articulates housing first, real housing first, from the stuff that people call housing first that isn't housing first, and all of that. But it's really a film about community collaboration to end homelessness, because there's not one. Government can't do it alone, private sector can't do it alone, no service providers can't do it alone, right? So the community has to come together and get on the same page, work within the same homeless response system in order to really have progress on the issue. So, you know, it's important to have all those elements there, especially business community, healthcare, you know, all these places that can be helpful if they have a plan that they can sink their teeth into. I'm sorry, you never heard.
Hi, and I'm sorry, I missed your name. What's your name?
Don Sawyer.
Don Sawyer. Nice to meet you. I'm Sandy.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, because we're talking about this panel, do you think it would be a good idea for us to have our Aspire Mental Health as part of that panel, because they basically receive ARPA money to develop a whole program, so that, you know, to offer different housing services, different tiers of services. And then speaking of collaboration, you know, maybe that's an opportunity for us to allow Aspire to articulate, you know, what they had in mind. And then after watching the film, they articulate what they had in mind, but then they now get to hear what the community is saying, and maybe they can now start to tailor their programming, if you will, toward what the community is saying it wants and it needs. And I don't know if all their stuff is set in stone or not, but that's just a suggestion since we're brainstorming, what does this panel look like? So again, my question to you, do you think that some of those folks should be a part of this panel discussion? And if not, probably definitely in the room so that they can discuss how this money is going to be spent.
Well, no, they should be on the panel, and all the panelists will get a chance to see the phone before, so they know what they're, it's not this isn't, this is a time to come together, and work together on the whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, if somebody's getting ARPA money for instituting homeless program, they should be central to the whole thing. And if they are doing that in a siloed fashion, that silo needs to come down. So they need to stand, side by side with everybody else.
So it's not in a silo.
No, it's not. Well, so it's not working in a silo, but what I am saying is that most of the people in the community are not yet fully aware of everything that is going on. So in my mind, it's an opportunity for the community to learn what is going to be done, what has been done. So that's my point. And again, we were talking about who should be there. And I think you all should be there to give the opportunity to educate the public.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So it's like the Will Place, the Christian Center are also on that collaboration with us.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Elio Center is built around collaboration. The entire concept of it is collaboration. We have multiple organizations working on it. So we've already got a model, I think, that works. It just needs to be expanded.
And then again, because there's going to be people there from the community, because we're talking about collaboration. And again, obviously we've got these different agencies, but like his point too was about people with a lived experience. And a lot of times they're the piece that's missing from all of this great collaboration. So now that we're all in essence coming to the table together, again, maybe some parts can be tweaked because now we get to hear from the people who are living it like right now, and then all of these agencies together to work something out. So that was my point. I'm not here saying ain't nobody doing what they supposed to be doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying perhaps this is an opportunity to have some real collaborations this time. That's all I'm saying.
I heard you express that I get the feeling that we need to have a message.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the message that we want to put forward. And we are not at that point right now. So, do you have, what do you recommend for us to get prepared in that way?
Well, this is great because this is, like I said, most of the work happens before the event, and this is part of it, to develop a takeaway for the audience. A lot of times we find that collaborative muscle starts to work going up to the event, and then it just kind of reaches out. Normally it's not your counselors and your mayors and stuff that's on the steering committee, but then it goes to them and say, you're gonna be part of this, and everybody is already collaborating. And by the time the event happens, well, this is the direction we're going. So I would have to know more about what your homeless response system looks like and what's needed. Like normally you want to, the different populations, whether it's chronics or youth or DV or whoever, your homeless response system wants a straight path between homelessness to house. And that's normally not the case because that's not the way the homeless response system was set up way before anybody in the room was ever working this. So the cities that have, and communities that have been successful in this, they've looked at the system and say, this is broken, or whatever. These people can't get into housing because they have been homeless and the landlord won't accept them. And a lot of communities say, well, it's just, or like in the case of Milwaukee, a judge said, well, we'll write off any petty warrants, over here. And the county said, well, we'll master lease over here, we'll be the one who's leasing, and then we'll put in, we can, whatever, but all of that has to be a collaborative effort. Everybody has to work.
That's a lot of what Tammy, we know these organizations, but guess who's not even in the pipeline right now? The Anderson Housing Authority, which is a federally funded program, public housing and vouchers. We're not even in the conversation.
Well, you gotta be, because you're the developers.
We have to be, because guess where they come first to us? Because they're walking off the street, they see the sign, they come in the door.
Right.
So that's what's wrong. What's wrong, and I'm not saying that they've done anything, I work with all the people here. But plans are being made, not by the ones that's on the ground doing the work. There shouldn't be a conversation about homelessness and housing without a representative from our office.
That's true. I mean, do you have housing choice vouchers?
Yes, we got housing choice, we got project-based vouchers, housing choice vouchers. We received ARPA dollars for rent and utility assistance for the county.
They being used?
Right now, I can't even refer anybody from Anderson to the city's portion of the ARPA funds because there's been no, process that we can say yet. It's still, we don't know that. Systems are still broken because
My staff training is next week, so very soon. That's my program.
Yes, we've been administering our portion since January, but we can't help Anderson. What you're saying is, I'm talking right now because I do have to leave, but what you're saying is absolutely what has been a problem since the homeless initiative started here in the 90s. We're not fixing what's broke, we just keep moving forward. And so that's why we still have a serious issue. We're not connecting the dots. Like you said, there has to be legislation, there has to be other factors, not just homeless providers in the mix. There's got to be people that are making decisions that can help with evictions and things. There's a lot of reasons why people can't get housing. It's not just because they're alcoholic or a drug addict. It's because somewhere along the way, a mistake may have been made, and that's locked them out of the process. Whether it's eviction, whether it's unpaid rents, whatever it is. But those systems aren't connecting.
Who's responsible for, I mean, just theoretically, who can fix that? So that systemic problem, who can fix that?
This
group here.
group right here.
Okay, all right.
This group right here.
You have done some analysis, correct, recently, about housing first and about what the housing needs are and.
Yeah, we've done a housing analysis, but
Okay, I thought you had hired somebody. No, okay, all right.
not recently.
And we
I just thought that would be.
I mean, we do a report every year.
Yeah, and then plus Leela, down here in Human Development, obviously, she's got, lots and lots of data, that will reflect what's going on, with regards to the housing and the housing prices and stuff that we have. So.
I just see a lot of labor. That's important for us to do this right. And I think it is starting with some of those foundational pieces that you have, that Leila has, that are strategically we will come in and help us with. Because I think the message, we need to be on the same page as to what that message is and what we want to communicate to the officials, to the community, to, what we want to discuss and what we want to push forward.
But I think that's, in that whole housing first initiative, I think that's the overall message. Like, we are trying to help people get housed, stay housed, move from, crisis mode, if you will, to, maybe they're struggling, and now we get them to, to being stable. And yes, there's a lot of systems that have to work and play, like, even now or continuously, but I think I've got a little bit more, leverage now, if you will, where a judge and I are back in communications about trying to get a eviction diversion program, here in Anderson, Madison County. I was just last week in Indianapolis at some meetings, and they've got churches and different ones involved, and they all talked about how they're handling evictions with an eviction diversion program in Indianapolis. So again, I'm back at the table trying to make sure that happens, because as these rents continue to skyrocket, pay is not moving up. Now we've got families that can't afford this skyrocket rent, and now they're part of this homeless piece as well. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. So, but to that, I'm glad that all this is going on, and yes, we're ready to. This group is ready to roll up our sleeves and get in, and let's make this happen, because we have to do something.
Well, there's nothing more, I mean, the opportunity here is there's nothing more powerful to a community than to see a group that has a reputation in the community as being not as successful as they could be in dealing with what they've been tasked to deal with. To come out with, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do, here's the message, this is what we're together on this. And we're working it out, we've worked it out, here's the plan. Not more powerful than that, and communities, again, most of them feel like it's a hopeless issue, but if they see some hope, they see hope in the film, they see hope coming from you after the film, the support you'll get is amazing. We've been doing this a year now, and I don't have time to go through what different communities have done afterward, but I will say in June, Indianapolis is going to make an announcement, and it was all from the momentum that they got from the event. So yeah, I mean, it's not hard to pick out where the problems are. It's not hard. You just have to go, say, step back actually, and say, okay, well, we just need to fix this. Instead of, like you say, just move on, keep moving on year after year. That is what the homeless response system that was set up in this country is designed to do. Just move on. Just real quickly, the problem that you guys have in this homeless response system is the design of the homeless response system. Homelessness was taken out of the poverty conversation, the affordable housing, healthcare, blah, 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 and put over here on its own island, as if they're not the poorest of the poor, but still they were separated, put on an island, and a service industry was put up around it. And industries are meant to perpetuate itself year after year, survive. Service industries need clients. Homeless folks are the clients, no industry. It's really like that. It's a systemic problem. And so the people who have success at this, they stand back and they're like, this isn't gonna work. Let's change the mission to ending homelessness. We don't have to tear down the whole system. We just have to tear down that's why Housing First was even created, right? And so Housing First is a vehicle to get to that, but you have to deal with everything else and make it in line with that. Housing authorities, any place that has any success in this, they put a preference on Section 8 vouchers for chronically homeless, and they have a great working relationship with the housing authority. Housing authorities like in Indianapolis that just got taken over by HUD. And so you have this big problem. Those are the places that are failing. So I mean, you are in the room. you know, anyway, I'm sorry.
We have a men's shelter and a women's shelter for women and children. And often we put a lot of work into this, getting people ready to move on. And this is what you're discussing is so important about collaboration, because often we have people ready to move on and nowhere for them to go. And that's the piece we do all the work, all the kind of the heavy lifting to get them prepared, and then what's next, what's available. And that's the piece for me is the big link there for collaboration, is how do we move them, those that are really ready into that next thing. I just think what you described earlier is exactly what this collaborative effort has to look like.
We don't have anything here right now that, this homeless shelters have their own, segment that they're going to serve. Just the women's shelter just recently opened. That's just recent. But for years, all the data has said need shelters for families, because forever, a whole family, husband and wife and children, it could be a boy and a girl, there was nowhere for them to go together. Those are the things that we're missing, the gaps.
Yep.
But
We do have one house.
one house
Yeah.
among
But-
four,
but-
you know what I'm saying, no, it's not been a priority, just the bottom line. Some, have been established for a lot of years, and they was established upon, like the Christian centers, serving men coming out of incarceration, or whatever it was, but it was men. So, but I'm not condemning our efforts. It's just that this is my third time being on this task force, dating back to 1998. And we've got to make some serious movement this time, because the problem has exploded since 1998. And now there are laws in Indiana about arresting people for being on the streets. The game has changed. So I just hope that we can see really that what you're bringing will really compel some hearts. But we gotta get a lot more decision makers to the table. Everybody in here is not at the top of the totem pole in their organization. They don't make those decisions on how you're gonna move their organization forward. We really need to focus on getting those major players from the top brass all the way down. We need the police departments, we need sheriff's department, we need the county commissioners, city council, county council, the elected officials, and the money, the business owners, on this problem, because I know it drives you crazy at the Paramount doing all the work you're doing down there, and you've got this issue. And it's hard to start business if people don't feel safe. But my travels throughout the United States, I go to a lot of different cities for housing conferences. What I'm hearing a lot of when I go there, into some of the large cities, just most recently Detroit. The mayor stood side by side with the director of the housing authority and talked about how they cleaned up downtown Detroit, so that they can start to grow that place again. So we have to come together and really be serious this time and really fill those gaps no matter what it takes. If I see that I'm in an initiative and you're missing, I need to say something. If you guys are doing work and you see that we're not represented, call me. There's nobody's gonna get a trophy for doing work alone. The work cannot be done alone. So I've already told you guys, we're not at the table on two big initiatives. That city ARPA money that United Way has for rent and utility assistance, when they're blowing our phones up, and this collaboration with Aspire. And I'm just saying this publicly, not involved. And we own and manage over 200 and some units of property. We've got 1,400 housing choice vouchers in our agency. And I brought in almost $5 million in grants for these things we're talking about. and we are not at the table. So,
Thanks, Kim. Don, do you feel like we're putting
This is the catalyst for it. You guys are not unique. You're not even the worst. You know, it's a catalyst right now for you guys. You know, like I said, most of the work is done before the event gets here. You know, it's an opportunity you know, here's the thing, I don't know if I'll be able to express this, but right now, I mean, you guys, it feels like you're in a vacuum, but all these decision makers that you're talking about, they see they see everything, right? And so they don't have confidence that things are going to get better or on track or whatever. But if they see you guys rise up together with stuff that makes sense, they'll jump right on board. And this event, if you can do that, this event is the place to show them that. And at that point, the higher ups in the organizations that need to be at the table, you know, long story short, the solving of the issue does have a table, and it does have all the people that you're talking about at the table. And frankly, in the two communities we show in the film, there are others, but in the two we show in the film, the mayor and county executive were at the table. You know, both of them have a city county system, and it wasn't both of those at the table in both places. It was one. The other just didn't get in the way. So, eventually, to fully implement a new homeless response system that's going to work, those people are all gonna have to be at the table. There will have to be a table. But you guys have to show them something to get to the table with. You have to have a plan that makes sense, and eventually, the business community is gonna have to be at the table too. That's the biggest untapped ally, but those folks they're not risk averse, but they want to see stuff. They want to see a plan that's going to work. They hate throwing money down a black hole, and they love taking chances that, you know, that have great results. And if they can look like great people along the way, they will. They just are never approached the right way. They're not approached with a business case. Homelessness can be packaged into a business case. You know, that makes everybody prosper. So that's the work that your guys' work, both which is part of the steering committee's work, is creating a message, but both which is part of the steering committee's work, is creating a message, but your work, you know, if you can make some of this stuff that you're talking about today make sense, get in a better place or whatever, and then you got a lot of time, you know, in September, you guys can then present, you know, throughout the evening. There's spots before the film plays, there's spots right after, there's a panel discussion, you can present, you know, what you have come up with that's going to work for this community and what everybody needs to get on board with. So I don't think you're putting the cart before the horse. I think this is exactly where people start.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Other questions?
I have one thought. So, I know you said you have a lot of vouchers, for housing, but are there enough houses to use those vouchers? Do
we
you
don't
have
want to use
places?
that right now. I mean, we're fully utilized and we're able to issue a few amount Also, back in this time, there were apartments that, like Delaware just opened up. I didn't know that they were opened up until I saw that we just issued 3 RTAs. But there's some incentives or some things that could happen for them to set aside some units, for homeless. That's in order for people to have received support in the past, like Sun Valley, that used to be Fairview. They had to maintain like 4 apartments for homelessness, for homeless families. We've gotten away from that a lot, but that would be something that would be very helpful, to help our people. And with wraparound services, we don't want to just throw someone in there that's been on the streets without any support. But that was part of the deal, working with different organizations to do those wraparound services. We've been managing more properties so that we can have the ability to get through our waiting list, and that has helped, especially with seniors. So a lot of seniors that would have fallen through the cracks become homeless if we didn't step in with some properties that we're managing.
BWI is probably helpful too.
Yeah.
We need more apartment buildings built, or houses, or, what is there?
Well, and I'm just gonna say this, and I promise I have to do it, I don't wanna take up all the meeting, but I'll tell you one thing that I did going into the housing authority. I met with landlords, I asked them to give us another chance, take our vouchers, give us a chance to become a partner with you again. And that opened up a lot of opportunities for the people that have vouchers in their hand, but landlords had lost trust in us. They didn't want to rent to anyone with a voucher, because we had to get our act together, we had to clean the place up. There's a lot of untapped resources out here, a lot of people that would join with us if we take an extra step to kind of say, listen, Gold Key or whoever, we're hurting out here. We've got people on the streets. It's hurting our business. It's hurting the growth of Anderson, hurting its reputation. How can you join with us? Can you open up some units that maybe even a probationary? You can work with our counselor, work with Aspire, work with different ones. When my people get at that threshold where we may have to evict them, we're talking to Aspire, like there might be some issues that have not been addressed. But we cannot stop the conversation and the partnership. We've got to start thinking outside the box. This problem is not going to go away until, we do and get some decision makers in this room.
And not only that, the answer all the time is not always build, like we've got a lot of vacant buildings that can be repurposed, right? So, I'm one of them earth people, like, we gotta save some trees and a whole bunch of stuff, so just repurpose some old school buildings or whatever, old apartment complexes, those types of things, so, but definitely being creative on how we get housing here, and I forgot to tell you that I'm the Civil Human Rights Director for the city of Anderson. And so, when we have developers or potential developers coming in, we should have a conversation with them about setting aside, some units for affordable housing. So those things need to consistently happen across the board. And that's how we help to, continue to help ensure that there's going to be affordable housing available. And when I say affordable, I'm not talking that market rate stuff. I'm talking, based off of whatever your income is, it is affordable, but most importantly, it's livable. And not, and we have to redefine the word decent, because some folks, may not know what that is, but, decent is, if you wouldn't want to live there, you wouldn't want your family there, then it's probably not decent, right? Let's get, lights, water, gas, real floors and not dirt, those types of things. So again, you don't have to always rebuild, we can repurpose and partner with, private organizations or whatever it takes to get more housing here. And again, affordable and nice, we're gonna change decent to nice housing for everybody, no matter who you are and what your income looks like.
Yes, and when I mentioned bills, my thoughts were just creating more housing. So whether it is repurposing buildings or building something fresh, we just need more available, because we don't have enough right now.
Is it-
Unless we get more people collaborating.
We're getting funds to repurpose and to assist developers into rehab. I mean, where do you and your, travels, where are they getting them? Is it primarily from the federal government, from local government, from the business sector?
Primarily from tax credits from the federal government, building, you know, very rarely is it just a contractor that says, I'm gonna build affordable housing, because I'm a great person.
That's kind of, and the federal government, if there's only so much, the community can bring in.
Sure.
And there are a lot of challenges for this, as far as financially too.
But that's from the ground up. Repurposing stuff you could probably get, some others, but I gotta tell you, I know a guy, I don't know if anybody knows who Mike Makalowski is. He cares deeply about Anderson because he's part of a contractor. And he cares deeply about Anderson. He used to be a pastor at one of these churches, I don't remember which one, but, I think he got frustrated trying to build here. I don't know why, I don't know what the details are or whatever, but, if I can get you guys in touch with him and, they do have resources, to build, but, yeah, repurposing is a different deal than building from the ground up. Repurposing, you can probably get, business community to pitch in, it could be a private-public partnership. It's just the repurposing thing is usually just ends up being taught. I don't know why people don't tend to just move forward with it. Because everybody, there's no downside.
Anderson Authority, Anderson Housing Authority took on the building, and it's costing millions of dollars. It's tough. It's tough to take an old school. When you think about an old school, it is going to cost millions to rehab that house. I'm not doing. There are things we need to do different, and there are construction that needs to happen, and there's rehab to happen. But there are a lot of layers and challenges with this, which means we all have to be on the same page with our resources and with our voice and with our direction. I'm here for it as far as I could, and I know everybody around this table is, but we're gonna have to have some assistance, I think, in organizing ourselves to get to that, to get to where we need to go.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too, but even if it's new construction costs millions too, so, it's always going to cost, that, you can't get around cost. But yes, using the money wisely and making sure everybody's on the same, we want all of us around the state, we all want, the same thing, so, and there will be ups and downs in any business, right? There's brand new construction that they thought that could be built one way and they got to build it and it didn't quite work out, right? And so there's going to be ups and downs no matter, but I guess to everybody's point, we just have to, keep trying and keep trying and follow through. Like you said, if, this repurposing talk, we need to identify some buildings that could be repurposed, and, you know, making sure we have people go out and survey it to find out what the real problems are, and then we'll know, you know, technically about how much it really will cost to repurpose this thing, right? And then kind of move from there. Because at least the structure is
There's
there.
also options of modular housing, which
Yeah,
is a
those
third
two,
of the cost and
all
a
that.
third of the time to put it up, and tiny homes, as long as they have plumbing and,
Yeah,
you
all
know,
of
that
those
kind of thing, you know, there's all kinds of things. It's a matter of, it's a matter of leadership, and it's a matter of will,
Right.
is what it comes down to.
And I wanna make sure that I say, I love that Anderson has an authority to say no. I mean, it's gonna be so great when it's finished. Lincolnshire, I mean, I'm grateful for that. But it is not, my point with bringing that up is it's expensive.
Well, it's all expensive.
It is very expensive.
At a time when the federal government's cutting
Yes,
programs
exactly.
hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think it's just I think so much conversation is necessary, and in the spirit of Frozen, because I have a 5-year-old, we gotta just take the first step, the next right step. And it sounds like we need to get a steering committee established to even start the process for this event in particular. And then we need to spend quite a lot amount of time just discussing our options and creating a strategy and a plan. But for this event, Rachel, are you willing to head that steering committee and then people can sign up?
Yes, we already established a steering committee, and that was me and Karen and Marion. But we would definitely welcome more people on the steering committee, since it looks like there's several things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And I would definitely like to be a part of that committee as well. Because again, I'm still a human rights director, and one of my service areas is housing. And so I should definitely, you know, have a seat at that table as well.
And I know we have a representative from the Paramount. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Tracy Brandon, nice to meet you.
Tracy, thank you. You definitely will have a big part in this. Is there anything that you need from us, or anything that you want to speak about in regards to this event?
We are here to come to the party. Homelessness affects our business every day. We see it, we live it, we understand it, we try to be the best neighbors we can be. It's a challenge. There's, you know, there are all the reasons, the mental illness, the drug use, the lack of parenting. We honestly see it all every day where we're sitting. So we are here at the table to do what we can to help. We are, as most not-for-profits, financially strapped like everybody else. So if we're happy to host this event at no charge. If I can get volunteers to help me sweep the popcorn at the end of the night and, you know, pack up what needs to pack up, I'm hoping that maybe we can bring some vendors in, that we have tables and literature set up that possibly is a place that we can get them. We also have a new digital marquee that I could put a message on. A lot of people are down there and read that marquee every day, and if there's some place they can get some help or direction, let's put it up there. It can scroll through with every 7th event that's going on. You know, there could be a message. If you need X, Y, or Z, this is where you can at least start. If that's Kim, if that's whomever, you know, we want to be a good partner. And as I said, it affects us every day. And I have a heart for it, and I understand what little I can. Thank God I've never been homeless, so I don't know what it's like. But I do see people seeking refuge under that overhang because it's the only place. And I'm sorry. But there's a place for all of us. I'm so sorry. But it's such a helpless feeling to be inside those plate glass windows, looking out every day.
Yes, yes. And thank you, Tracy, for sharing. And you don't have to be sorry for being human. I appreciate it. We appreciate that. So thank you.
And it's that compassion that we need.
Yes, absolutely.
And thank you for letting us use the paramount.
Oh, it's, you know, it's definitely, a gift to all of us here in the city, county. Thank you. I'm a crier by nature.
That's all right. We appreciate it.
But, yeah, so whatever we can do, I would suggest that as a steering committee comes forward, that somebody that's downtown every day, not necessarily me, but there are a lot of people at the library, we are quite a hub for people collecting in that neighborhood. And I think that the library, that the Paramount, that a lot of those places can offer some direction. I mean, there are 25 homeless people in that park every afternoon, minimum. And no place else to go. And it makes me very sad when I see the police come through and shoo them all away. But I also get it because they're fist fighting, they're using drugs, they're overdosing, they're mentally ill, and they have no place else to go. So, it's such a catch-22. I have patrons that aren't particularly comfortable walking outside at 10:30 at night, leaving one of my events. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, people living down here, and we're gonna have more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
There's lots of challenges.
Yeah, but, whatever we can do as a theater, like I said, there are 9 employees at that theater. And I don't know if you see the events going on, but we are catching ourselves coming and going and want to help if we can.
And Tracy, you already know, you can write me down as far as helping clean up, because I always do.
Yeah, absolutely. But those are just the things that, are just the reality of it, that I don't have a budget to have people come in and clean up or set up tables or do those sorts of things. But if we can get volunteers to come in, and it's not, we're looking at a Tuesday, which is a perfect night to do something like this, that I don't have to refuse somebody that wants to pay me a lot of money to come. Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it.
Very good. Okay, any other questions regarding, the subject of the bridges? You have all the contacts you need, you'll be working with Rachel, right?
Rachel, yeah.
Okay, you guys all set?
Yep, okay, so just, my partner would, I have to answer him. He wouldn't be happy if I didn't mention the deposit would need to come 2 months before.
Okay.
If that works, just talk to me though, but,
What is the deposit?
it's 4,500.
Total cost is 6. Is that right?
No, total cost is 9.
Total cost is 9.
Mhm.
I thought it was 6.
Well, it's 6 plus expenses.
Oh, okay. What are the travel, is it travel expenses?
Travel expenses for your music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, because I'm just down the road, I can be available for you guys for the event in terms of the planning and stuff. If you have any questions or whatever, if you want me to show up on the Zoom, or if you have a meeting like this, if you want me to show up, I will make myself available, to help walk through that. Is this not what you expected?
No, it wasn't. I thought it
What
was,
did you expect?
I thought it was 6,000. You said something about travel expenses, but
My travel expenses won't be, much, because I'm down here in
Right.
Castleton.
yeah. And you said that,
Mhm.
and then you just said you didn't think it would be a lot, for your partner to come. So, that you think it'll be 3,000 for him to travel? Or is,
Let me talk to him.
okay,
you know, and you were expecting 6 plus
Plus whatever
his travel.
but he didn't, I don't think he gave us a dollar
We
amount.
didn't do all of that. So when you talk to him, we'll make it work that way. Okay. All right, guys, I don't wanna take up all your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you. Mr. Sawyer, there are a couple things I'll need from you. As far as the DVD, you know, whatever we'll need to show the film and things like that. Don't-
Do you do DVDs or?
A Blu-ray DVD's perfect, we can,
You don't do DCDs?
you see, you're talking to the director, not the technical girl, I have no idea.
Okay.
But I can get you, and if you'll give me your contact information, then I'll have Justin contact you, because I do events, I don't do technical.
Okay, yeah, just have them.
I will. Thank you.
We can get it in whatever form. it needs to
Yeah,
be.
I don't know what to take the prayer.
It's a pleasure meeting you guys, and listen, you guys, you will be fine as long as you just kind of like do what the patients did last night.
That works.
That was crazy.
We ready?
I'd already given up. No, I've learned that.
But really, I mean, everybody starts here. And then you turn to the next community and say, hey, you started here. You'll be fine. All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Very good. Okay. That's good. Yeah. Okay, we got a few other things to take a look at. And we'll try to move through those fairly quickly. Marion? You're up. First of all.
Well, Rob went to, I think he went to go potty or something. So, yeah. 'cause he's
Well,
not-
guys have to go potty too.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Thank you for what you're doing, Marion, with respect to this issue.
Well, they should, you know, like I said, that, I'm hoping we get that through, and, that is just community benefit, but I would still be asking for sponsorship of that.
Sure, sure.
But we did a lot for community benefit, we've done it to CASA and the House of Hope and a lot of different things. And this is extremely important to our community, so
Thank you.
hopefully we'll get it all done.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Hamlin's Taskforce, as somebody else said, that we received in the beginning. Now, there will perhaps a string or two attached to that. We'll see about that. Okay. I mean, if it ends up being 9, it's 9.
Well, once we decide exactly what that event cost is, and then I'm gonna ask my organization to do some sponsorship, and hopefully we can do that with others as well. But that will be separate from this community benefit.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, the date what's the final date now on the event?
September 16th.
September 16th.
What time?
I believe 6.
From 6 to 8. 30. Oh, you got that. Okay.
Now, I wonder, would we be set up for this in the ballroom or downstairs?
I think it would depend on how many vendors we have. We have a courtyard space where the restrooms are located,
Right.
that I could get 8-foot tables in there if there are 10.
Okay,
If there are 30, we'll be in the ballroom.
okay.
It just is gonna be the logistics of that. I think that, the ballroom is a lesser desirable, just for the simple 3 flights of stair transportation, or waiting on that elevator in a period of time. That's where where it struggles a little bit. But I would like to see, a lot of vendors there offering. I'm hoping, as crazy as it sounds, I'm hoping that our homeless population will come in and use it as an opportunity, as a quote unquote job fair type situation, where oh, look, I can pick up this information and get some answers. I didn't know that I could do this or that or whatever. So that's kind of my vision of what I'd like to see happen, but I want to accommodate whatever your vision is
So
to see it happen.
you're talking about maybe a packet of information?
Whatever
Is
that
what you're
looks
thinking?
like for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be somebody that knows they need mental health that doesn't need this, so maybe they don't have a place to take all this paperwork to keep it, so it's gonna end up on the street blowing away. I mean, I think we've gotta be mindful of that if they're not interested in this piece of it, then they don't have to have that piece of paper or whatever that looks like. But, I mean, I'm just here for the lack of a better word, event, party, whatever, so that we can get the ball rolling, because it definitely needs to roll.
I wonder, would it be, possible and helpful if we, opened it up an hour before the actual start time for the document, for the event? That way, people could come in and look around it.
I think based on the time, if it's too much earlier than that, people are still working.
Right, but if you're
Those
talking about
people.
bringing the homeless.
Yes,
to
yes,
Be able to browse around and.
Yes.
Resources, and maybe that'd be a good time to do it, so it's not going too late. in the
Right.
evening.
right. Because you always have a better, somebody coming early versus staying late. By that time, it's like, I just want to go home. It's 8:30, I want to go home. I think that if we do that, that we're gonna have to partner with some, security, for lack of a better word. There are a lot of people that are gonna need to be managed if, just from wherever they're coming from. That, so people feel comfortable in all walks of it. I think that you're gonna have to have some security of some sort, so people feel comfortable coming
Well,
in.
and they're probably not gonna, most of them probably won't commit, so, yeah, and so.
There's a threat of
Yeah, so, yeah, if we're
the
gonna.
establishment.
Yeah, if we're gonna be invited, we have to figure out ways to be inviting to
Yes.
them. I do like the idea of 5 o'clock, but maybe it's more something, if the weather permitting, maybe there's something outside where they can see it and kind of walk up to it.
Yeah,
That type of thing.
maybe we
Because
could
in
use the
most
stage
cases,
equipment.
security is not invited.
Right.
To them on any level.
Well, you're right about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because my guess is, they're, like you said, they're not gonna want all the paper.
No.
And maybe that's even what I'm just thinking, like, oh, that's an opportunity to put some type of a pack together where you put your parents, socks, or put them.
And it can be across the street in the park.
Yeah.
We can give that to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get to just the unhoused.
Yeah, the unhoused people that are probably already gonna be hanging around in that vicinity anyways.
This is during the, I'm sorry, watch out.
Yes, this would be just before the film starts.
Yeah. Well, we need to, right now, we need to be talking about services that are available already, that people are not, apparently, we keep talking about them, but they're just not as informed, so we need to get together. And I talk to the library from time to time, because there are services downtown to keep people fed and keep them
Right.
moving. And then we offer one-way tickets out of town, we do a lot of things through our services, so we need to talk about some things that we could offer.
Sure.
Just every day.
And
because
then,
there's clearly
maybe
not
you
enough.
can join with our meetings here soon as we're
Sure.
going to the
Sure.
details.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those are the things that like the steering committee. Right, I was gonna say, those are steering
We'll do
committee
it.
conversations as well. Yes.
10 days after this event, we're doing our medical mission. So this will be our second medical mission. We did that last year in our parking lot. It's gonna expand this year with services, and it's free. So it'll be everything from mammograms to haircuts to feet washing to medical exams to everything will be there.
And if somebody creates a PDF saying that, I can put it on that marquee and it can spin.
Yeah.
And then, because I think that's part of the challenge is getting the information. It's not like they're watching the news or the television, or how do you communicate with a group of people that's displaced? So if that marquee sends the information to a few people every day, then maybe word of mouth is in, that could be part of the messages. Please tell your people, your friends, that these services are there. If you think you need a mammogram, September 15th, your day.
Yeah, it's
Show
great,
up.
yeah. That's, we really need to push that out.
Yeah,
That's,
definitely.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of people that are innovators of that.
I agree.
Yeah.
And, you know, the city was a good partner in getting that marquee up there, so we are happy to put that sort of thing there. And, you know, it can be programmed to a specific time. If, you know, you feel like the biggest amount of people are gonna see it from 3 to 5, we can program it that it changes, you know, and just shows it from 6 to 8 or whatever that looks like. Let's use that marquee to get some message to people that are down there every day.
We have access to a couple hundred of the homeless and the working poor people that are future homeless. If we don't do something, and we can access them, I think that's a good opportunity to do something right if we can hand out to them.
All right, so there's lots good going on.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and try to move through the agenda quickly if we can, to get you guys out of here in a reasonable time. Rob, the second account update.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm gonna give you a quick financial report. There's been no activity on the account. Thank goodness, because we haven't authorized any activity on the account. I will say this, I've got to work with, who is it, Karen?
Star.
No, I've got stars in line. They're ready to do it. We just have to go through and make sure that we understand exactly what the ARPA expectations are. So I need to.
The meeting with Gretchen.
Thank you. I need to meet with Gretchen, and that's the next thing to come up. I haven't really been able to get that on either of our calendars. So that way we'll know exactly how we want that structured. They're ready to do it whenever. Here's the credit debit card. So whenever you need it, we never took a checking account. They never sent us checks. So I followed up with our call. Karen, I thought maybe it came to the city. They said, no, we never issued checks. So they're gonna issue checks. So on Tuesday, I'll be able to help reimburse you.
Okay, well, we haven't okayed that.
Okay, so that'll be the next thing. So everything's taken care of, everything's good. I do want to know where you want this to have a home. Yeah, I think everything's in motion. It's just, it's not all done yet, but it will be done. So, yeah.
All right. Mary, do you have anything to add to what you're working on?
So we're just waiting on that to hear from them.
All righty.
And how much was that grant again?
Well, the 5,000 for, like I said, it's just community service bill.
Okay.
We do community benefit. I just listed agencies in this community that I thought would benefit. So I'm trying to get all the ones that, so we need several. I was excited about this one. Were you able to fill that out? I'll talk to you. Okay. I was gonna say, I got one of them, but I don't have the second. I'll give them to you. All right.
Before moving on, should we address that reimbursement?
The reimbursement, yeah, on the back of the agenda.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So,
So reimbursement for the property summit, and we can handle both reimbursements at the same time, I think. There was reimbursed, costs paid by, was it you used your credit account?
we did that on
You
something
did.
else. She did on this, yes.
Okay,
So, and what was the amount of that?
$885.
$885 needs to be reimbursed to Karen.
I have the paperwork here. It was for the registration for Heather and Tammy and Rachel.
Okay,
That went to the Prosperity Summit.
So if this board approves it, and you have a receipt, I can write that on Tuesday.
And we will get this reimbursed from ARPA, because this is part of the training that is allowable under what's been given to us. But we need the paper trail.
Yeah.
And so you'll reimburse me, we'll get them both of those, and then the Taskforce will get reimbursed for.
okay. Did we ever have any bills submitted during the heating season?
Not yet, but we'll have one.
You'll have one.
Okay.
Only because we had to hire somebody to do the driving.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, was there Prosperity Summit?
We just made a motion on that, and, but
How much was it?
$885.
$885. Does everybody understand what we're talking about here now? Is there a motion to approve reimbursement for $885 for Prosperity Summit?
So moved.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All members in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion is passed. Reimbursement should be made on Tuesday then, right?
Correct, as soon as we have the checks.
All righty,
we'll bring that.
good enough. Was it, oh, and we will have one for the heating. Costs.
Ideally, maybe, yeah.
Was there any other reimbursement that we had, to anybody? Don't think so?
We may need a reimbursement for the Google nonprofit account because we don't have a website or anything official. It is not verifying anybody as a representative to give us the nonprofit account. So, we may want to swap that credit card over, Rob, because you got charged like $24 again because I have not been able to get it verified so we can get something that Google accepts to confirm that I'm a part of the organization.
Should we switch it over to my name? Because my name's on the account as well.
It's just not attaching, because we don't have anything showing that anyone is attached to the homeless task force.
Gotcha.
And so it's just not, it's not seeing us as an official nonprofit. I don't know what's going on. I'm calling everybody. I'm trying to get information. Hopefully this won't be the case, but I know that until that happens, we're going to get charged for that. For me, I've deleted everyone else so we won't get additional charges for every person. So right now it's just to have that one me so that I can try to move things forward. We're getting charged that one fee.
And it's on the Christian Center's account, correct?
It's on the Christian Center's account. I was saying, now that we have the credit card, we can swap it, and at least it's just being charged on the task force, and you're not incurring any expenses at the Christian Center.
Okay, we need a motion to approve Whitney as, a member for that card. Identifying her with the homeless task force.
No, it's not that.
No,
I just need the credit card. I need to use the card for that account until we can get it free.
Okay,
I'll send you the information, Whitney.
Rob will take care of that, okay?
So we probably need to approve that.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
So I make a motion.
Okay, is there a
that we be
second?
allowed to do that.
I'll second.
Motion seconds, we have that on the floor. All members in favor of adding Whitney Johnson, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
So as soon as you
Rob.
come back to town, you're in business.
Thank you.
Okay, do we know anything about the Facebook page from Tamara?
It's up, and I was hoping that would do the trick, but it is up, and she has posted something, so we do have a Facebook page.
Very good, very good. Do we have anything from job descriptions, or revisions, Tammy, from your group?
So like it says, that the job description revisions, that stuff was, I believe, yeah, it was approved, all that was approved.
By our,
Well, it hasn't been approved yet.
it hasn't.
No, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So,
Well,
do we have a problem?
There's no problem, Gretchen just hadn't gotten to it, and I had forgotten to remind her about it. Last time we met, I checked with her, she sent back revisions that she wanted. You guys got that back to me within about a week or so. I got that to Gretchen, but Gretchen and I have not touched base again about it. I asked her about it again today, and she said, oh, I have not looked at that yet. So I know she's gonna make it a priority to look at the revisions that she did that were asked for.
Is that all that we need to give her to get approved?
I think so. I mean, as long as she looks over it and says,
Yeah.
we fulfilled the revisions, and I think they feel good about that, so I think we should be good. But we have not gotten that final.
And then we still need an email to attach to that. So that we can promote it and have a place for people's applications to return to.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, I mean, once it's approved, we're still kind of stuck until we get the Google account up and going.
Right.
I mean, we can technically add an email, it's just we'll have to pay for it. I don't know
Well-
see what I can, but I can add that info back.
And we can add you, we can just use you, Whitney, for that. And since you've got the email, we could just use that one, so we'll just figure out once we get it, how to do that. And get it up and going.
So, yeah,
So we'll
those-
be okay in a couple of days?
Well, as soon as Gretchen finds the time to approve all the work that we have done, and then once that part is done, and Whitney shares the, one email address that the homeless task force has, then we will be able to start marketing, like, these are the positions, and because now people will have a way to submit their information to us, instead of saying, use my work email, her work email, and, who all is on our committee, like, that's not gonna work. We wanted and needed one central homeless task force email for submissions and for us to send out information as well. So that's the other part that we're waiting on. And once those two things are done, the email and the approval of the 2 job descriptions, we're rocking and rolling from here.
All right, good enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Back page, Indiana Housing Conference in August. Is this an ICTA type thing? Indiana Housing, and Community Development type? Are they putting that on?
I see you.
Yeah,
They're not putting it on, but they'll be there for
okay.
their,
Do you generally attend that? Okay, so you wanna go this year, will you go from Aspire or
yeah.
from Aspire? So, you need to think it over, what is this, it's in August. So if any of you would like to go to that, it's in.
I would like to attend.
Okay, it's in Indianapolis, so we would, reimburse cost to attend the conference, but not hotels overnight. I think so.
Would you-
Yeah, I'll introduce the credit card to pay for the registration,
Yes.
and then ARPA can reimburse the task force.
All righty.
Could you send that to everybody?
Yeah.
Would you mind sending that? Just so that we can take a look at it.
Yes.
And then maybe we all can respond whether or not we want to go or
I suspect that'd be a good one,
not. Over,
would be my guess.
It is, it's a really good networking opportunity. They'll have breakout sessions. A lot of tax credit properties will be there, things like that.
Okay. Have you ever attended one of those, Ron?
I haven't, but I'm on Amber's housing board, and I'm on Kim's board, and I'm on this board, so I'm hoping somebody will pay for
Somebody
it.
pay for it.
Well, we can.
Just split it through, yeah, just kidding. Yeah, I'm planning on going. Years ago, I went to something, that was really good.
Yeah.
And I go to a lot of training through the housing authority as well, so.
See, next year that'll be in Honolulu, so that's the one you wanna go to, I see. Okay, I wanna spend just a
I
minute
think that was a joke, yeah.
on park
That was a
and
joke.
recreation ordinance issue. Okay, all of you have seen, I'm sure most of you at least have seen the article in the newspaper that talked about changes to the park board ordinances or regulations, actually, not ordinances, relating to parks. Now, this is kind of interesting. I've talked with Mike Lee a couple of times. Mike Lee is terrific. He always calls you back. You can count on him. And Mike has spoke to our group before. This started with 2 or 3 hunters hunting geese at Shadyside Lake. It didn't start as a homeless issue. And these guys were shooting guns, trying to hit the geese. Cops got called, so they went out there. I had always thought that it was illegal, violation of ordinance, to fire guns inside the city of Anderson. That is not true, and I've always thought it was. Because, you sit on your patio and, you hear boom, 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 was that a firecracker or a gun? So, anyway, when they followed up with these guys were more than cooperative. It ends up being it's not illegal to do that. So, Lee contacted the city attorney. City attorney said, whatever rules and regulations you want to have a police department to be able to enforce need to be approved by the park board. That's what you saw on the paper. You all of you have a copy of that?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's team done.
Let's see if we can figure out how to take a copy of the larger print, send it to everybody. Can we do that?
If they have it electronically, so you can expand it on your computer, but it's really small.
Yeah, it's small. So all those that are on there, including you, and I guess I can't tell you that I know this for sure, because I thought I knew the other thing. But, 11 o'clock, I'm almost positive we have an ordinance that says parks are closed. Everybody's gotta, move on. So, assuming that is an ordinance, that's enforceable. But that's also in the regulations, which is what the city attorney, told, them to do, the police department to do. So those things that you see, if you take your magnifying glass, especially when you get older, make sure you're not there yet, but it happens. They now have enforcement powers to make a move if they need to, okay? So that's what that's all about. I do not anticipate a big raid on the parks, unless people are doing something illegal, like smoking dope or whatever. Oh, and by the way, you're talking about downtown Dickinson Park, they did have evidently a group, less than a week ago, broke in and turned the water on in the Three Graces statue, and were taking showers in the statue in the park, after they had broken in and got the water turned on.
They drink that water too, and it's not, it's like water, it's terrible.
So I don't know if you saw all that activity going on in the downtown park.
I actually, one evening I wasn't there.
So anyways, it turned into a problem. But anyway,
Once again, when that happens, they can take showers daily or something.
yes, they can.
So we can refer them there.
Yeah. Yes.
So Greg, do you want me to kind of read through some of what's on this addendum? The addendum is not dated, but you want me to skim through what that paper actually, I believe, says with the addendum to the Park Recreation Department rules and policies, starting with is it A2024?
If we go quickly, because I don't want to hold folks too long.
I mean, it's something to, that's why I'm asking. You guys.
You should be able to get that, or expand the size of that, as Karen suggested. It's very much what you would expect, I would say. So anyway, that is all now legal, passed by the park department, and then the safety board passed it, and because they have a legal authority over police and fire and public safety services. So that is in place now, and that's all that was.
I have a question. So because it's not dated and it says A2024, does that mean that the addendums was actually done in 2024? And now it's
I
just
don't know
being
the answer.
approved?
No, they have been approved again. That could be an older copy of it. I don't know. But Mike said they're all legal now. But my point is, I don't expect a raid on the park trying to pick people up, unless they're doing something, smoking dope or whatever, okay?
And I think the heart behind me, sharing information is so that our service providers and those supporting homeless population just can communicate that update.
Yeah, absolutely. And the police officers, they don't know about all this yet either, according to Mike. So once he gets that, finalized, they will meet with them on shift meetings to tell them what this is about. But it is, I mean, I just got a call the other day, they're back in the Second Street Park, back in there, and they've been in there 3 or 4 times, First and Morton Street. So anyway, it's an ongoing thing, but it was not aimed at just going after homeless people. But they do have now authorities to go into the parks and enforce those things. That's what it means.
I need to leave, but I did want to make an announcement regarding the ARPA funds that were given to United Way.
Okay.
So, and Kim talked about those. So we applied for the money and received it. We didn't realize there was a whole other giant step to that of creating a program design. That took about 3 months for us to do. there was a delay. I had 2 family emergencies back to back with a family member that passed. And we're not big capacity in any way, so there was a delay on my part getting that done. I have a training, I sent out an invitation with partners who have case managers who do this type of intake. I sent that, an invitation out to about 8. I had 3 accepts, so Operation Love, Salvation Army, and Passstone are being trained next week on the program. And once I sit down with them and we really communicate, we'll figure out what the mode of communication should be to connect people to that program.
And what kind of program is
So
that?
this is rent and utility assistance
Okay.
only. So there, when she's at a table, I just want to say, there isn't a table, it's just me. Training intakes, the 3 are Passstone, here in Anderson only. Operation Love and Salvation Army, so they have case managers that are gonna get trained. It's an extensive application. It's not, there's a lot of, it's paperwork heavy. So that was one of the reasons why it just took so
Paperwork
long.
heavy for the applicant?
Applicant and agency, because it's federal funds.
Oh, yeah.
So, and so because of that, you know, I kept saying, well, can we give out more money to each person? So the max is 1,500, we can even pay ahead or pay behind, you know, obviously, but I just wanted to say that the process is going as quickly as I'm able to get it
Well,
going.
at least we're coming out on the
Yes.
other side of the.
Yes, we are, and once I communicate, you know, sit down and we go through the training and we figure out how we want that information to get out. The reason I say that how is that even with the money we have, it's really only gonna serve about 100 to 150 people. So if you open up the floodgates, all of us will be overwhelmed with calls in a way that won't allow us to do all the other work that we're trying to do for the community,
So
so.
are your restrictions for your, program, how it's run, much more extensive than what the trustee runs?
Oh, yeah, this
Oh,
is,
yes.
this is HUD compliant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much.
All
So,
right.
so they have to be in certain, there's presumed eligibility if they're in certain, low to mod, census tracts. That's low to mod income
Oh, okay.
census tracts. There's also presumed eligibility if they can show, verification that they are a part of certain programs.
Okay.
And we have a list for that. There is income eligibility. That's what kind of took us the longest to really figure out what that income eligibility should look like. That one, we'll try our best, but there's a lot, it's heavy on trying to do that. We're gonna focus on those 2 first eligible populations.
Well, you're not doing anything between midnight and 6 in the morning, are you?
Trying not to, but
Thank you.
anyway, yeah, so I will keep you guys informed as soon as I have that information. There's just been a lot of building blocks that had to get in place to make that happen, so.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
the target population?
Anderson residents only in those low to mid, income census tracts. It's based on, federal poverty guidelines of 2021. And I can't remember the percentage.
Are you
As well.
doing prevention or are you
This is preventing people from,
This is
You know,
past
not homelessness, like
No,
coming from?
no, I mean, it's under the housing because of where the money came through, but it's just for rent and utilities.
So if we were unsure and running, we would work with one of these 3 organizations and not United Way.
Correct, they all feed into me and I approve them, to be paid by United Way. But they are the intake sites for that, and it's just one person at each location, so.
So Operation Love, you know.
Salvation Army, yeah, so, but they haven't been trained yet, so don't call them. The training is on the 28th. So anyway, I'll let you get back, but I appreciate it, so I can take off, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming. The last item on the agenda, we really don't have anything to talk about there. It's the nomination from the county, which we have not received yet, to serve on the board and fill that spot, you know, how they're laid out in the ordinance. So there's really nothing to say there, which brings us down to, is there a motion for adjournment?
I
I will make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
There you go. All members in favor signify by saying. We are.
Okay, that's it, Facebook. This was your homeless task force meeting. So for those of you who can, the city council meeting is tonight at 6. They only have 2 things on the agenda, but I will be there to film that also. So thanks for watching and see you later.